Okay, welcome all. So it's the first update to DJet Golf Georgia template. And also I want to mention that all the DJet assets have been updated according to lighting. So there was quite big differences in lighting in DJet Grasses and DJet Golf compared to DJet tree packages. So now they have been unified. All the assets have been updated and now migrating from asset package to other it will be easier. They will be quite much ready when you just migrate. Of course, some tweaks might need to be done a little bit, some decimals in some base color values or subsurface scattering value a little bit if you want to tweak. But now they're all using 10 lux directional lighting, like I can show you here. I mean, in this new Florida map, it's 3 holes map, but here you can see we're using 10 lux. Also in the Georgia map, we're using 10 lux, so we have gone through all the assets here. And now, like you can see, we have migrated few date palms and few windmill palms and only few decimal tweaks, and they are they're very nice in this level. So that was something we needed to do. So now you know all the digit assets are updated. This is the last one. All the others were updated already before. So one important thing is according to spline drawing, also in digit grasses package and in this package, we highly recommend drawing all the looped splines counterclockwise. Because these edges, we need to decide where to spawn this, to what side this edge grass. So if you draw them clockwise, those splines, this will be placed to the other side, so it does not work like it's intended. So our mistake, we didn't mention it before, we just didn't notice that we always draw this counterclockwise. That's why they all work. But something you should concentrate into. Only exception is the island green. Also this bulkhead option I'm talking about later is drawn counterclockwise, but only exception is the green inside this pond. This will be drawn clockwise to work nicely. So those were pretty important things. Uh, some fixes, improvements to this golf hole. Now all the colliders are working more trustworthy. If we check this collision, they were working before, but now it's better. When you have 18-hole golf course, it must be trustworthy. So now you see that the colliders of this hole mesh is is here, and it's seamless transition to the landscape collision. So it's improved, and I recommend updating also because of that. Okay, we also recommend we figured out that the leader data is not always perfect what you're using and making your height map. So always smoothen your green areas with smooth tool, sculpt smooth, landscape mode, and maybe 0.2. And here you can have 2, maybe 150. This kind of little brush, go through the greens like this. Not too strong smoothen, but little. So all the corners will be gone, so the whole placement will work better. Okay, so we have improved the whole. use it to the smoothing when you do the golf course. Okay. 3D cross, there are some improvements in subsurface gathering just to get a even nice blend to the landscape in the distance. So some parameters have been added there. And also tree trunks in all the digit assets have gotten to use diffuse as a specular, and it is set to default value, and it gives you nice contrast in tree trunks. So a little improvement to all our packages. So those were the things I wanted to mention. Just checking that if I remember to say everything before going to this new level and the bulkhead option in those water hazards. So unified lighting to about 10 lux in all the digit assets. Spline drawing should be done counterclockwise. Only exception is island when you use bulkheads. Uh, Improved golf hole logic, and it's wise to smoothen greens. Little improvements in 3D crosses and trunk lighting. Only 3D cross improvements have been done. The little subsurface scattering improvements in this package. Uh, and the last improvement before going to the bulkheads is when we have this PCG crashes fairway and PCG crashes golf. They are basically the same kind of graph, but we have disabled semi-rough and rough spawning in the fairway part, and in this golf part we have done the vice versa, so it spawns the semi-rough and rough, but not the fairway. But we figured out that the fairway was slow because it was it didn't need to search rough spline and all the logic. Maybe you can do little more tweaks to this, but we after we don't search this rough spline in this fairway section, we just put it to this tag to do not search rough. So we do not have any splines that has this tag. So it makes this fairway uh, PCG graph faster, because if you use it as it is, like you have here rough, then it does all the logic that the other PCG graph does, but only spawns those fairway parts and tee parts. And here we have used, in these plans, we have used fairway because these are round tee boxes. If you have rectangle tee boxes, then use tee tag. But now when these are round shaped, you can use fairway, because these tee markers are a different PCG spline. They don't need the tee spline around them. Uh, the flag needs green around it, green spline around it. So that's why if we don't want grass in fairway somewhere, we don't name it green, because otherwise it will have the flag and the hole. So that's about it. So now this fairway part is faster. Maybe you can do some things to the other splines as well, but they are not as important as disabling this rough section. So this rough is as it is. It's slowest of this PCG graph because there's all the logic. So when you have an 18-hole golf course done, it maybe requires half an hour to do all, but now the fairway section should be much faster. Um, well, then I believe we can proceed to this new level. This is 3 holes, and it has this new option, new meshes for doing bulkheads and new meshes for these few palms we wanted to add. to make this a little bit more Florida-like. But anyhow, so I quickly go through this level, so you will see that there are water and bulkheads all over. So this is this golf course 16th hole. We have um, 5 tee markers: black, white, yellow, blue, red. This is 16th hole. And 17th is a black tee, white tee, yellow tee, blue, red, and nice drop zone, of course. So here, this kind of island green may be familiar to some people. Just to show you that everything is working nicely. And 18th hole, all the same tees, all the way to the green. So just showing that there are many bulkheads. There are much of these bulkhead walls around waters already in these tree holes. It's a little bit slower to load the course when it's using this much spline meshes we have in this logic, but it works nicely. You just have to be a little bit patient. Okay, let's go through the logic. So in the beginning you will not have more than this, and if we take the water body lake off, or just don't want to see it, it looks like this. And if we want to see the splines, we press the G button and then we have the splines visible. So first, because in all our landscape layers you can see the satellite image, you enable it, you put the right measures into it, and then you sculpt the landscape. And when you sculpt the water lower, you use sculpt, flatten, and not like this, but you have like this about. And then tool strength can be maybe 1, and brush fall off maybe 0, because you need to sculpt, flatten, and then you can take this value and then put it 2 meters under, so you can get it lowered the whole landscape. So you need to use landscape tools to get very steep edges, and you can use this option pick value per apply. So when you're doing the edges, maybe a little lower value, maybe 100 or 50. If you want to have these edges quite in the same level, you take the level here and you raise this part to be about in the same level. Okay, so we recommend using this option and maybe then only the raise, so it only raises the edge, which is after the leader data it's very shallow, so we need to get it more steep. Okay, this is the part you need to do with the landscape tools. Then this spline that is going around all this, you see it's somewhere, it's inside this wall. It's okay to be inside a little bit, and when the edge is higher, it maybe needs to be a little bit inside it, because otherwise the bulkhead top will be too far from this edge, and when it starts spawning the grass, we don't want to see the grass here, we need to see it here inside, so in the rough area. We don't want those grass planes being like this. So it needs to be really close. And why it can be really close is because we have this logic. If I put this bulkhead back on, you can see we have this extra plane. And why? Because we are hiding the landscape under it. You can see there is no landscape here. A little bit maybe under here. Also, okay, I put the camera speed lower. So here we are between the bulkhead wall and the landscape. And we can see that we don't have the landscape here because we have hidden it. And because we have hidden this landscape, we place this extra rough plane here. So you can't see the sky through the water. And it's nice everywhere. And why we have hidden the landscape is because when you go further with the camera, the landscape is starting to show through this bulkhead wall because the accuracy is decreasing when you go further. And that's the logic we have. So, and we because we have also hidden the landscape here, we can put the bulkhead a little bit the spline to the wall. It needs to be real close. So then we have a plane, curved plane that connects to this landscape, and it has also this grass, and then we have normal grass pond to this landscape. But this grass is a spline mesh that comes with the bulkhead, and the plane here, the grass is on top of the plane, that this plane connects to the landscape, like you see here. So you need to practice a little using those landscape sculpting tools and drawing the splines close to the edge. And always draw counterclockwise and only those pure islands. This is just a cape, this is an island, this clockwise, other splines counterclockwise. And then they work as expected, the edges also. Okay, let's put the water back on. Now you can see it's nice. We can go under the water and you can see it's nice. Oh well, it's just rough, but there's no mistakes there. Of course, you can put even fish there if you want to. So this is the logic. You sculpt, you draw the spline, and then you select this bulkhead loop. Loop means it's looped. Then there is this other bulkhead, and it kind of means that if you're just making one line to this side, and it's a little bit different, it's not as default using this hide option. If you're using the hide option of the landscape, I think it should be a loop and always under the water the bulkhead. But otherwise the logic is the same. When you're facing from this side, you should draw it from right to left. This side, of course, left to right, but try to think it as you watch the bulkhead from this side and then you draw from right to left. But of course, here we do the first full circle counterclockwise. And if we take this off, we can see that it is not very nice. And we can see the accuracy is decreasing the further we go with the camera. So these steep slopes, they would, without the logic in these bulkheads, it would look quite bad actually. But now when we have it, it's very nice. And the details, no complaining there. And it follows the landscape nicely. It's not the same height everywhere. You just use the landscape tool to make this about smooth this edge and I mean in the same level and steep, you will get the result like this. I don't say it's fast as lightning, but if you would do this manually and try to place all these walls and all these poles, it would take ages. So I think this is what I wanted to tell you about this new digit crosses Georgia. So it's not only Georgia now, it's Florida 3 holes, Georgia 18 holes, and then this overview map, and it includes this bulkhead meshes and those trees in the overview map extra compared to the previous one. So and wanted to mention that all the digit assets have been updated concerning this lighting. So now everything is easy to migrate between our products, and they are much more in line with I believe in the other assets in the marketplaces. So thanks for watching, and of course when you have bought the package you can also always give feedback and things to improve and things you have found out. We try to always improve our products and so on. So I wish you you had a very nice Christmas, and I wish you a happy new year and success for the upcoming year 2026. Okay. See you next time. Thank you very much. Bye bye.